Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today with this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today, I am going to be continuing working on my Jasper C. This is not a DP for Pets kit, but it is one that I'm working on and I would like to get finished, so I'm not very far into it and I would like to finish it before the end of this month. Don't know if that will happen, but I'm going to give it a go. So I'm going to zoom into where I'm going to be working, rearrange a bit, and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, I actually would start from the top and work my way this way, but I've run out of table room and I don't like having my canvas hanging off the table, so I'm just going to start here and I'll work my way that way. That's easier anyway. All right, I've got some drills poured, I've got my timer started, and I'm going to jump into my life update. How are things going in my regular life? Lots of stuff going on. We are still busy packing, painting, sorting, donating, moving, doing all the things. We've made some progress. Less than I was hoping for initially, but I'm okay with it now. So we've been painting. We thought we finally had our paint issues solved, but no. It appears when you just look at our house that all the rooms are painted the same color. However, that has turned out not to be true. We've lived here for quite a while. Sun fading is a thing. Some rooms have windows, some don't. So while it is all some sort of shade of beige, we were having trouble matching the living room. We finally found a shade that matches the living room, I think, but it doesn't match the office and it doesn't match the laundry room. I think we're going to be able to get away with just repainting a couple of walls in the laundry room, but I think in the office we're going to end up painting the whole thing. I do think we're going to be able to get away with just doing touch-ups in the living room / dining room / stairwell / kitchen, which is all one open plan area. And that was really the important bit. So we haven't managed to finish doing all of the touch-ups yet, but it's coming along slower than I would like, but that's okay. So we still don't have the house on the market, but we're getting there. I'm actually even going to be using some dry brushing techniques to try and cover up some of the spots without having to repaint the entire wall. And I know people said that someone coming in might want to repaint, and that's true. And that's fine, but it just looked really dirty and I was not happy even after washing some of the walls and getting most of the dirt off. We had 2 dogs for several years while we lived in this house and they left their mark, and while it's probably not a huge deal, I just feel better having it done. I feel like everything is cleaner. We're decluttering as we go. We have our own steam cleaner, so I'm going to steam clean all the carpets before we start having people tromping through and all of that kind of stuff. Just make it as nice as I can make it. The cleaner and hopefully less decluttered or more decluttered that I can make it look, the less cluttered that I can make it look, the faster the sale will go. We also made a few trips to the used bookstore this week, and surprisingly enough, so I was down to, in fiction books, basically hardbacks, which weirdly the secondhand bookstore doesn't want. Apparently people don't buy hardbacks a lot in secondhand. They want paperbacks and things that are easier to carry around. So they took most of our paperback books, but they didn't want the hardback one. We ended up leaving them there. They have a system where if it's something they don't want, you can put it in their donation bin, and then they have like a big book auction 3 or 4 times a year. And then they use that money to donate to several shelters around the local area. So the hardbacks they didn't want, we just left them there for that. We had a bunch of leftover college books from my kids' college classes that they didn't want. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with how colleges work, they don't really buy back books. Here's how the college my kids attended anyway worked. It used to be when I attended there that at the end of every semester they would have a week of book buybacks where you could take your books back and get some money back for them. Never as much as you paid for them, but at least something. I mean, if you paid $50 for a book, you might get 20 for it, maybe less. And of course, that was all dependent on if they could use it, because what if nobody else was going to be using that book that semester? So some classes, like English and things like that, where they use the same kind of literature text all the time, you could be pretty sure you could sell your books back. Other things, not so much. Anymore, they don't do it that way. If you actually use a physical book, they charge an arm and a leg for it. And then when you go to sell it back, they want to give you like $10 for it. And rather than having kind of an open, like when I did it, they used to have like a month where you could just go in between semesters. And because classes weren't going on, they would look at your books and see if you want to buy them. They wanted to buy them back. No, they don't do that anymore. They have 1 week that they buy back books. If you are not there during that week, they will not even look at your books. And half the time, my son and I were buying his books off of Amazon anyway. We weren't buying from the bookstore because it was cheaper to get them through Amazon. And that's if you had a book to turn back in. Lots of his classes, the books were digital, so you had access to them on Blackboard. So you basically, I got charged anywhere from $150 to $250 for the access. No physical book to show for it, and no way to get any money back out of it at the end of it because it's digital. So they just revoke your access. So they've paid for that access one time to download it to wherever they store it, and then they sell it over and over and over again. And the condition of it never changes because it's digital. So it's a pretty nice racket these days. All of that to say that we had a ton of educational books left. And when we took the hardback books there, my husband asked them if they were interested in those. And she said, well, it depends on what the subject matter is. But yeah, bring them by and we'll take a look at them. So we had, I think, 4 or 5 bags of books. Some pretty nice ones, some hardback books. My son had to have a business law class. That was a pretty hefty book. His calculus class was a pretty hefty book. Things like that. Now, when we took our initial load of books there, I think we made like $30 or something for all the books that they bought from us, which was pretty nice. When we took all the hardback books, they took almost nothing, and we made like $12, I think. So my husband and I spent that going out to lunch. When we took the educational books back, we got $80, which was way more than I would have gotten for them at the bookstore if the bookstore had bought them back. Because I'm betting 90% of them they wouldn't even have bought because they're several years old from when my daughter was in college. And, you know, a new edition comes out, it seems like every 2 years or so. So I'm betting those wouldn't have been any good anymore anyway. So that was nice. And we got rid of most of our books. Whatever books they didn't take, we ended up taking to the other place that we found in town that takes book donations. They were happy to get it. So all of our books, except for the ones that we are taking, are gone. So now we have empty bookshelves that we can try and sell on Facebook Marketplace, which means our basement is looking way less cluttered. My son is still sorting through stuff in his room. He brought up a bunch of clothes for us to get rid of. He had 2 dressers. He emptied out one of them. We put it out the end of our driveway thinking somebody would pick it up. It was a pretty nice dresser for one that you put together yourself, but it was heavy. And my son thought the trash people were picking it up. And I'm like, no, the trash people wouldn't pick it up. But some guy that was working with one of the tree service people in town, because they're still picking up limbs, came through with a big flatbed, and he must have decided he liked the way it looked. And he picked it back up and put it on their truck, and away he went. So hopefully it's going to a good home, and I didn't have to pay to have it hauled off anywhere. So things are going slowly, but they're going. We've made more than a couple of kits to the home improvement store for paint, but we also bought some more of the totes, the stackable totes that we really like. We've gotten a bunch more stuff packed up. Hubby has gone through a bunch of his electronic stuff and threw some stuff away and pared down. He's got a box of stuff he's going to try and sell on Marketplace. I mean, he's got everything from old hard drives to old video cards to just a pile of random cords, who knows what. But I think we've passed the halfway point of the things that we need to get rid of. I think Most of the stuff left in the house is stuff that we're actively using. And since we're going to be living here, my thing is, in all the other times that we've moved, I've been lucky enough basically that we weren't living in the house while it was being sold. Like, we had someplace already lined up to move into, so we were able to move and then just wait for the other place to sell. Not able to do that this time, so this will be an experience, because I don't like other people coming into my house, especially just random people that I don't know. I know it has to happen, but I'm not happy about it. So we'll see what happens. Once we finish all the painting, which will also give me time to do some more decluttering and things, then we'll get it on the market. I've bought a bunch of baskets and stuff. I want to pick up a couple of other things like a shower caddy, so we can just keep everything in that. So if they call us at the last minute, oh, can we do a showing? We've just got to do a quick run around the house to pick things up, and then we'll be good to go. I have told my son and my husband that means that we have to kind of keep the house neat and clean all the time. My husband tells me our house is way less cluttered than most people's anyway. I don't know. I'm not a big clutter fan, so we're basically cleaning, reorganizing what's left in the house. We still have paint touch-ups to do. Like I said, once we get done with all of that kind of repair maintenance stuff, then everything will get a good clean, and then it'll go on the market. While we're doing that, hubby and I have discovered we have other homework to do. We thought we had a handle on everything that we need to do for the move, but him retiring sooner than we expected has kind of thrown a wrench into things, because we had planned on him still being working, even if he was working in the US, doing storm work in the US and then coming back to Canada when he wasn't storming. Now we're not sure what all the tax implications are, because he decided that basically he wanted to retire. In order to withdraw his retirement, whether he's withdrawing the whole amount or whether he's rolling it over into something else, he can't have any contributions for 45 days, which means he quit his job and he has to not work for 45 days, which was fine and cool. And I thought I was okay with that. But now I'm having anxiety attacks because he thought he could just roll it over into something else, into a Canadian fund. But because IRAs and this other fund in Canada that he was looking at, they're tax deferred. You don't actually pay taxes until you make withdrawals and things like that. And because we're all US citizens, even though he's dual, the US taxes everything. And rolling it into something Canadian, a Canadian investment, tax deferred, whatever, I don't know what all the rules are, makes a difference. And so there's some things that we've been told we shouldn't do. And so now we're not sure. So now we're like, okay. And I said we need to consult with somebody that does the cross-border taxes, so they can give us some input before we just move and realize we've financially screwed ourselves. And because I'm the one who does a lot of the financial stuff, I'm like, oh, what should we be doing? And wherever we live in the world, wherever we work, we still have to pay income tax in the United States. Now, that being said, the U.S. has tax treaties with, I think I read somewhere like 60 different countries. So depending on where you are, depending on what the treaty says, depends on how things are handled. If you handle it wrong, there are some pretty severe penalties, monetary penalties and otherwise. So we just don't want to run afoul of those. And we both have said, people do this all the time. People move up there, people retire up there. I think I read yesterday something like over 1 million US citizens live and or work in Canada. So there's plenty of people doing this. It's not impossible. But we just want to have a handle on it before we make a mistake that's going to cost us financially. And so now I'm kind of like, I just want to make sure we're filing everything the way that we're supposed to. And since he's now going to be retired, how do we handle that retirement? But there's rules about how much you can have in Canadian assets as a U.S. citizen, on both sides, both on Canada's side and the U.S. There's rules about how much you can have in a bank account as a U.S. citizen living in Canada. Like I said, we just want to make sure we're not going to run afoul of any of these things. I think At this point, I'm really leaning towards renting rather than buying because I feel like that's going to be the smart thing to do until we can get to Canada and really talk to people up there. Yes, there are people who do cross-border taxes, but that's a pretty small subset of people, and no one here has any idea how things work in Canada. We need to get to somebody in a state that borders Canada, like Michigan or Maine. They will have people who understand how it affects people who live and work in one or both places and how the tax laws can impact things and things like that. Because of course things change every year because the tax laws change every year. So I'm having mild panic attacks about how it all is going to work and what we should do and whether or not that's going to delay the move. And yeah, I don't know. And I'm wondering what to do about mine because I'm not old enough to withdraw any funds from my retirement accounts. I could cash them out early, I suppose, and take the penalty, but then we'd have to pay income tax on all of that. And taking a penalty and then taking a huge tax hit in the initial year that we moved to Canada doesn't sound like a smart thing to do. It feels like the smarter thing would be to just leave it there and let it sit until I am old enough to collect. But who knows? Gosh, the US makes it as complicated as possible to do this versus other countries. So, like I said, I know it's doable. People do it all the time, but numbers and authorities, especially government authorities, are a huge anxiety source for me. Yeah, I mean, even though we're going to pay someone else to do our taxes, and I told my husband, we pay someone to do our taxes here, so that isn't going to be any different. But I think they'll be more complicated. And we've had people in my husband's Facebook group say that they're really only complicated that first year. After that, then there's lots of people who are doing their taxes for Canada and the US themselves. So maybe I'll feel comfortable enough to do that at some point. I don't know. And like I said, I don't even know what our income is going to look like. I want to continue doing YouTube, but I don't know if that's going to count as US income, even though I'm not in the US. If they'll just want me to leave it there and pay me in US dollars. I don't understand how all that is going to work. If I do the new channel, I don't quite know how that's going to get counted either. And if hubby is working storm work, then he would be getting paid by a US company. Lots of questions for us that we need answered. Mostly because of tax deferments. I mean, that's the stickler, is that when you're talking about retirement funds, everything is tax deferred, and so what kind of account you put it in makes a difference. So I just want to make sure that we're putting it in the right kind of account that is going to be the least amount of headache for us. So it just feels like I made things way more complicated, and maybe we should have either moved a couple of years ago or we should have waited a couple more years. I don't know. So now I'm having a lot of second thoughts, which probably will be fine once we talk to someone and we get some answers. But until then, yeah, anxiety city. My solution has been to do other things to take my mind off of it. So I've been diamond painting, we've been painting, packing up things. We did finally get the table over to my daughter. It was bigger than she was imagining, so now she's trying to figure out how to rearrange her living room so that it will all fit in there in a way that she likes. We got it all to fit in the way that my husband and I had told her that it would fit, but we had to move her computer desk and she wasn't super happy about that. So now she's trying to come up with a different configuration that she likes better. So we're probably going to be making another trip over to her house and figuring out possibly how to move things around so that it's the way that she wants it. We still have some more things to take over to her, so we'll be doing that too. My office/craft room is looking empty. Our basement looks empty. Our bedroom looks empty, which is good. That was the plan, but it just is weird after living here for so long with all of the stuff, and now so much of it is gone that I told my husband today, this is what I want our new place to look like. I don't want all this clutter everywhere. I don't want stuff piled up around. So I have a feeling I'm going to be shopping for a lot of baskets and furniture with drawers and that sort of thing so that it can all kind of be hidden away. Because I think I've said before, my husband never met a flat surface he couldn't cover with something. I told him today my theory that it's because he came here with nothing, and so subconsciously he wants to remind himself that he still has stuff, so he puts it everywhere so he can see it. Not sure he agreed with me, but he did at least think about it for a minute. Okay, so yeah, lots of stuff going on in that arena. YouTube has changed the algorithm again. Still lots of things going on. I still don't get everybody's comments all the time, so I try to respond to everything. If I don't, I apologize because I didn't know you left a comment. Sometimes they just disappear. Sometimes I'll get an email saying there is one, and then I go to reply to it and it's no longer there. So it could be the person deleted it, maybe YouTube ate it, I don't know. Anyway, they've been making changes. One of which was they were supposed to let creators test out thumbnails to see which thumbnails got you more clicks. Which I was like, okay, that sounds great. I would love to know what thumbnails make people click on my videos, right? Great. Except that they're rolling it out slowly, so not everybody has access to it yet, which is fine. I can wait because I don't have access to it yet. But then I was watching a video on it and they're like, well, but the feedback that YouTube gives you is not about how many people clicked on your video. It's about how many people watch your video. So it's based on not clicks, it's based on how much time people spend watching the video, which I thought, I don't understand the point of that. What does that tell me? That just tells me that people watched the video, which cool. Thank you so much for watching it. I appreciate that. It's not that I don't care that people are watching the video, but the point of most thumbnails is to be exciting enough that it makes people click to start watching the video. Hopefully, after they start watching the video, whatever you're saying or doing is interesting enough that they keep watching. How long someone watches your video, I would think, has more to do about the content of the video, not your thumbnail. But what do I know? Also, apparently they made some changes to how they, I don't know, promote, suggest, whatever. You know how you get that sidebar of suggested videos after you watch a video, or when you go to your home screen, there's a bunch of suggested videos on there, which are supposed to be based on other videos that you were interested in, I would presume. But even if you have subscribed to a channel, which if you haven't subscribed to this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That would be awesome. Even if you have subscribed and hit the little bell notification, because that bell means that, yes, notify me when this channel drops a new video. I have that bell turned on for videos or for channels that I subscribe to, but apparently they've now added options to the bell. So even if you're subscribed to a channel and you have notifications turned on, you won't necessarily be notified of all the videos or posts by that channel unless you go in and update your bell thing to say all, because I guess there's like 4 different options now, which as someone who watches YouTube's videos and other channels, as a person who watches, not as a creator who makes videos, but as a person who watches videos, that would be nice to know, because there are lots of times where I have gone in and seen, oh, well, this person had a video. How come I didn't get notified? I should have gotten a little notification that this person dropped a new video and I didn't. I guess now I know why. And I'm all for people making changes and updates. I'm cool with that, but you'd think they'd want to let people know. Like, what good does a new feature do if nobody knows what it is? I guess that's my thing. Or you just frustrate people because you've added this new feature and no one knows what the new change is, and then people get frustrated because they're like, well, I signed up for notifications on this channel and I'm not getting them. Well, why not? Just seems crazy to me. But again, what do I know? I'm really loving this kit, by the way. The colors are really vibrant. There has been quite a bit of black so far, but it's been balanced out pretty nicely. I know once I do a section with a lot of black that I'm going to get another section that has a lot of colors in it. So it's all good. I think that's everything I wanted to tell you about my regular life. Basically, I'm having a big freak out over money and we don't know when we're going to move. And yeah, so we may be here longer than we thought. Hopefully not, but we'll see. So let me move on to my diamond painting life. What's going on in my diamond painting life? I finished the Basset Hound, which was my second DP for Pets kit. I'm not going to show the finish of it because I want to finish the unicorn that I unboxed yesterday. If you guys haven't seen that video, go check it out. The unicorn is adorable. It's another kit that I got as a Christmas gift, and I decided I wanted to get it done. It's another smaller kit like the Basset Hound. So I'll probably do like a finish review after I get both of those finished, since they're both pretty small kits. But the Basset Hound turned out really cute, and I think the unicorn is going to be super cute as well. Plus, that means I'm going to have all those finishes, and I'm trying to get stuff done. I feel like I'm making some good progress. While I maybe have not finished as many things as I would like so far this year, I am finishing things, which feels good. And I am finishing up several of my older kits, which feels good too, because I don't know, it just feels good to see that they're kind of older ones. I don't know if that makes me feel good because I feel like I'm making room for new ones, or if it just feels good that they're no longer hanging around. I don't know. So I've already got, 3 finishes this month. I should finish the unicorn, and if I can manage to finish Jasper C, then we'll see. It's going faster than I thought, and now that a majority of the packing and sorting is done, I don't have to spend as much time doing that. We do still have stuff to do, but now that hubby's home, it's not all on me to get it done. He's got things that he can pack and sort, so he can be doing some of that while I'm diamond painting, and it's all good. Win-win. I get stuff packed up and I get diamond painting done, so it's all good. Jasper C is going faster than I thought. It is confetti heavy in a lot of places. There is some nice color blocking in some places, but it is pretty confetti heavy in some places, especially where the black is. But I'm enjoying it. Like I said, the colors are really vibrant. I'm enjoying all the ABs that I'm adding in. I'm trying not to look at any of the new releases because I just am trying not to buy too many more. If I finish up 5 or 6 things this month, then I'll consider maybe buying some more stuff. And I know Bella Art is supposed to have some new releases. Ooh, in fact, I think they came out yesterday. And there were a couple of them that were pretty cute. I haven't seen anything new release-wise from Diamond Art Club that I wanted. Although, did you guys see that apparently Diamond Art Club is getting into the mini kit game? They don't have as many little canvases in theirs. Each of the ones that I saw, there was only, I think, 6 little canvases in each small like mini kit. So they're sort of like paint gem minis, but instead of the 12 or 16 that you get in the paint gems, there's only 6. But they were also quite a bit less expensive than the paint gems, so I suppose that makes up for it. I'll be interested to see how they do, because they only had, I think, 4 different kits, and a couple of them were flowers. Guess they got to have their fingers in every pie so they can be the market leader. Anyway, something new is always good, right? I did make my donation for DP for Pets to my local Humane Society, so I'll be sharing that with you guys here in a minute. We're past the 15th, so I did open the exit form a bit early for DP for Pets, and I'll stick the link down below. So if you are finished with your kit, then you are free to go to the exit form and fill that out for the event. Now, a couple of things, because I have people asking a lot of questions. One, there is no start pick required. I just want a pic of the finish, because you have to have that for the exit form, because I use it in my video montage where I show everybody's cool, amazing finishes. I've already had some of you fill out the exit form and include pics of your finishes. They look amazing. I can't wait to see what everybody else is working on. If you are not finished, don't panic. We are only halfway through the event, so you still have half the month left. So hopefully you're about halfway in whatever project you chose for yourself. You can have multiple entries in the event if you want. However, for those of you who have asked about multiple entries, multiple canvases, you can fill out multiple entry forms, and that gets you multiple entries in the weekly drawings, which is what I use that information for. So if you've already done 2 kits and you want to do a third and you want to fill out an entry form for all 3, then you will have 3 entries in the weekly drawings. However, no matter how many kits you complete, you only get 1 entry in the final prize drawing, because I didn't feel like it was fair to people who are doing 3 or 4 30 by 30 partials to have multiple entries when somebody was maybe picking something 50 by 70 to complete, and it was going to take them all month to just complete that one item. So everybody only gets 1 entry in the final drawing, no matter how many kits you complete. Now, that being said, if you want to go ahead and fill out exit forms so that I can include pics of all of your finishes in the final montage, that's cool, go ahead. Anybody that submits a duplicate, I note that in the information so that I know to only enter you once in the final drawing. I have been super amazed and pleased at how many of you have entered the actual event. I know many of you had multiple entries, so that skews the numbers a bit, but even with that, going back and looking at how many people are participating this year compared to years previous, I'm just super thankful and so excited to have all of you participating. I think it will be an amazing finish montage if you guys all finish, so that I can share all of your amazing finishes, because there's some really cute kits people are doing out there. I've already had, like I said, some people submit their exit form, and I already have some really cute finishes to share with you guys. I'll be including my finishes in the final montage as well. You guys will probably see them before then, but I just hope everybody is having fun and having a good time participating. For those of you who are doing more than 1 entry or are getting in because just starting now because you were doing another event, start pics are not required. All I require is the finish pic for the exit form, but you do need to make sure you fill out the entry form and the exit form, because that is a requirement as well. So the entry form is open. I'll leave it open because, like I said, I've got people who've now finished other projects and events and are coming over to this one now, so I'll leave it open. But the exit form is now open as well for those of you who have finished or maybe close to finishing. Don't forget that you need to have that finish pic for that. It's gone really well. Both weekly winners have contacted me and gotten their items right away, so hopefully that trend continues. All right, how long have I been talking? Oh, pretty good amount. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop, and then we'll finish up our other business, so don't go anywhere. Okay, so you can see a little bit better the section that I was working on. So what else did I do this week? I made my donation. My local humane society is called Caring Hands Humane Society. I donated my $100. So I've made my donation. Again, donations are not required. If you are making a donation, please, please, please make it to your local humane society. Those local dollars will go way farther than donating to a national organization. So if you can do that, if you're planning to make a donation, please do it that way. That's much more helpful. All of the animals and the volunteers at the humane societies and myself, thank you. It is not a requirement that you make a donation, so if you're not in a place to make a donation, don't worry about that. It doesn't affect anything, your participation or your entries or anything in the event. It's just an extra thing that if you have the funds to do, I encourage people to do, because we like to help out our furry friends. All right, the last thing we have to do today is to spin the wheel for our 3rd weekly giveaway. Let's spin the wheel and see who our winner is. And today's winner is Ariana Davis. Congratulations, Ariana. So, Ariana, if you will email me at diamondpaintinganonymous@gmail.com and let me know your mailing address so that I can get today's weekly prize mailed out to you. We have 2 more to go because there are 5 weeks this June. And like I said, we're only halfway through, so if some of you are not close to being done, don't panic. You have up until midnight on June 30th to submit your exit form with your finish pick. So keep going. And I will keep posting in the Facebook group. You guys keep posting as well. I have been loving seeing everybody's progress pics in there. So make sure that you include those. If you don't want to include photos of yours, at least go check everyone else's out. People are, like I said, working on some really amazing projects. All right, I think that's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.